the wall and the structure, that is HTML, the skeletal of the website. Then we paint it, make it look nice, that is CSS, the makeup of the website. And then we add electricity and water so it can actually work, that is JavaScript, the brain of the website. अगर मैं आपको इंग्लिश में समझाऊं, सो जो मेरी हड्डियां हैं वो HTML हैं, जो मेरी स्किन टोन है, जो मेरा कलर है, वो मेरा CSS आप कह सकते हो, और जो ये मैं मूवमेंट कर पा रही हूँ आप उसको जावास्क्रिप्ट बोल सकते हो.
Now let's look at the HTML structure. As we discussed, HTML is just the skeletal of our app. To build the skeletal, I mostly use div tags. You can think a div as a simple empty container or a box. I divided my entire screen into a few important boxes you can see here. At the top I made a special box. This is the most interesting part of my design. It is called the hood, or a heads up display. If you play video games, you know the hood is the area that shows your score and health. Think of it like the dashboard of a car. I created this div is equal to, in div I created div, sorry, my mistake. In the div I created id as a hood because I want the user to always see their progress and score without getting distracted from the main game. Inside the hood, this main hood box, I created two smaller boxes. First, you can see here is the hood item, and in that I put the paragraph. The first box is on the left. It contains a simple paragraph tag for the text question and a progress bar below it. The second box is on the right. Here you can see is the H1. H1 heading tag, so it's look big and clear. Below this hood, we have the main game area. Inside these boxes, I put the actual text. I used H2 tag to make the main question look big and important. And at the bottom, I created four separate div boxes for options using simple paragraph tag. You can see here. Lastly, if I have so many boxes, how I find them later. So I gave all this tag an ID or a class. You can see here, I give them a class or ID. This clear structure not only makes my quiz app look like a professional game, but it's also help my CSS and JavaScript easily find this box later. And if I show you the structure of my HTML page, you can see here HD hood container, the H2 question tag I use, the option containers like this. This is the basic structure of my HTML. Now that's our HTML skeletal is ready. It looks very boring. It needs some paint, styling and life. This is where the CSS second phase, CSS, comes in. CSS makes our app look beautiful and interactive. I want to show you my three favorite CSS tricks used in this project. First, look at the hood scoreboard. How did I put the question exactly on the left side and the score exactly on the right side? For this, I used a main CSS rule called flex. You can see here, you can think of Flexbox as a smart manager. When I use justify content space between this manager automatically pushed one box to the extreme left and other box to the extreme right, making it look very balanced. Now we see the hover effect. What is the reason behind it? My second favorite part is the hover effect on our options. I wanted these options to feel like real physical button. So I added hover state. When the user bring their mouse over an option, I use cursor pointer here. I used I also use the property called transform. Translate y minus zero point 0.1 rem. What does this mean in math? Y is the vertical line. So translate y, simply lift the button slightly up in the air. I also added a smooth transition. This is the transition so that this lifting movement looks like a premium animation. Lastly, I created two special paint buckets as the bottom of my CSS file. You can see here is the correct and incorrect. A dot correct class with a green background color and dot incorrect class with a red background color. But wait, if you look at the app right now, there is no red and green color. Why? Because I'm keeping this color hidden and ready. I will not use them in CSS. My JavaScript will use these paint buckets later when the user plays the game. JavaScript will automatically pick up this green and red paint to tell the user if there is an answer is right or wrong. You can see here. This is right. It's also showing red. And if I show you the and this is the my structure of my CSS page, how option are working, how progress bar showing.
Now come the brain of our quiz app, JavaScript. Let's decode this step by step and line by line so you understand exactly what I did and why I did. So the first concept I use, that is DOM manipulation. DOM connect HTML with the JavaScript. So why I used it? Before JavaScript can change the score or the question, I need to grab those HTML boxes. Think of this like saving your friend phone numbers in your contact so you can call them later. I used document.getElement by ID, here you can see, to grab the specific HTML element, the question text, the progress score, and the progress bar. So for my four options, I used document.getElement by ID class name choice text. You can see here, and since there are four options, this give me a collection, but to loop through them easily later, I wrapped it inside array.from. Here you can see, to convert them into a proper JavaScript array. Let's move to the next part, the state variables. So variables using let allows the value to change. I need to keep track of the game changing state. I like the score increasing or the question number changing. Here I created my empty trackers. Current question, you can see here, is an empty object to hold the current question on the screen, and the accepting answer is my gatekeepers.
it will be true or a false, so the user can't click twice on the same question. Here is the score, you can see here, and the question counter, here it is. Both start at 0. Available question is an empty list that will later hold the question we have. Let's move to the third part, the question bank and the constant. What is the concept? Array of object and const variables. Why I used it? I need one organized place to store all my quiz data, and I need fixed rule for the game that I will never change. The code explanation. From line, you can see here, I created an array called questions, and inside this list, I put object using curly brackets. Each object hold the question text, four choices, and the correct answer number. This is my digital notebook, you can say. I used const because this rule will never change. Here you can see this is the correct bonus and the maximum question. I'm explaining what is that. So correct bonus is equal to 10 means 10 point for right answer, and max questions is equal to 5 means the game stop after 5 minutes. Now we are done with third part. Now move to the fourth part. So it is the fourth part, and arrow function and the spread operator, the concept I use. Whenever a user start the game, everything must be reset to 0 cleanly without destroying the original data. Here is my start game function. It reset the counter and score to 0. You can see here available questions, and you can see here the three dot. I use three dots called the spread operator. This is very important. It takes a photocopy of my original question bank. I use the photocopy to play the game. So my original array is never modified or destroyed. Then it's called get new question to load the first question. Here is the get new question means it will load the next new question. Now we move to the next part. So the concept I use here is the get new questions, the main logic. Here I use the game logic and the math calculations. You know why I used it? To check if the game is over, update the progress bar, and pick a random question dynamically. The code explanation. Inside get new questions, I first check is the photocopy list empty or have we reached the maximum questions. If yes, I save the user score in local storage. Here is the get new question and here is the local storage, and redirect them to the end screen using window.location.assign. You can see here. And if the game is still running, I increase the counter. I do a simple math percentage question divided by maximum question and multiply by 100. I add a percentage sign and apply it directly to the CSS width the, of the progress bar. This makes the blue bar fill up automatically. And how do I pick a random question? Math.random. You can see here, this is the progress bar. When the question is increasing, the bar is also increasing. And here I use the random. With the help of random, every time the set of new question will be created. and it's like a scrolling a dice. It picks a random index from our photocopy list. We set that our current question and put its text into the HTML2 tag. You can see here. And then I use for each loop. It's look the data number I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, and uses this number to fetch the exact choice text from my object and put it on the screen. You can see here this is the data set, and data set I set in the HTML. If you see the my HTML page, and here I use the slice to delete the specific questions from our photocopy list so it's never repeat. I tell my gatekeeper accepting question is equal to true, so the user can finally click. So let's move to the next part, handling clicks and the colors. This is the smartest part. So the concept I used event listener, ternary operator, and DOM styling. To check if the clicked answer is correct, apply our CSS paint buckets, green or red, update the score, and also show the correct answer if the user was wrong. So, if I explain my code, this is the most exciting part, you can say. I added a click event listener to all four choices. First, if accepting answer is false, it uses return to ignore the click. If it is true, it immediately locks the gate accepting answer is false. Here you can say, and if is the answer is the correct, then it's not accepting the answer. And after that, it is the most nicest. Sorry, my spelling mistake. It's check e dot target to see exactly which option was clicked and grab its data number. I used a ternary operator. You can see here, ternary operator. It's check does the clicked number match the correct answer in our database? If yes, it save the correct word, and if no, it save incorrect. If it is correct, I call my increment score function to add 10 points. Then online then in the line I take the parent element, the wool div box, and the CSS class green or red paint to it. See, it is the, you can see here, the increment score which increases the score. Wait. But if the user click the wrong answer, the box turns red. But how will they know the real answer? So if the class is incorrect, you can see here. If the class is incorrect, I wrote a dot find function. Here is choices dot find. It searches my four choices, find the one that matches the real correct answer, and manually add the correct green class to it so the user learns from their mistake. See, class list here I add on the parent element. So, finally, I don't want to jump to the next question instantly. I use set time out. This makes JavaScript wait for 100 milliseconds, means 1 second. So the user can see the colors. After 1 second, it removes all the green and the red classes and calls get new question to start the cycle again. Here is the all the logic what I said. After clicking the user, first it will show the green if the answer is correct, and if answer is the incorrect, it will show the red. After giving the answer, it will move to the next question. So let's move to the last part of my page. So in that I concept I used helping function and function calling. So I used it because to keep the code clean and to actually start the engine. Here you can see this is the last. So at the bottom I have my small increment score helper. You can see here increment score helper, which just adds the bonus point and update the HTML text. Here you can see score dot inner text. With the help of that, we can update the HTML text. And finally, on the very last time, I call start game. Without this line, the engine will never start. And if you want to see the structure of my JavaScript page, so first I select whatever I have to select, like IDs in the class name. Then the banks means the database where I saved my all questions. Here the decision, the question is correct and wrong. And after that, we move to the next question. So, and this is the simple logic. First user do the action, the action will move to the reaction, means it will collect the data what the user click. After that, it will check the question is right and wrong. After that, we move to the next question. Thank you very much for watching till the end. If you notice any mistake, feel free to inform me in the comment section. Your feedback helps me to improve. So let's meet in the next video. Till then, keep learning, keep growing. Happy coding.